Hey y'all, welcome back to the Love Ministry Podcast, and we're going to be unveiling Christ into love in this secular world. And on today's episode, we're going to be talking about before the marriage, the courtship season. And today I have with me this lovely couple, Mr. and Mrs. Benford. How are y'all doing today?
We're good. How are you?
I am doing well. It's good to have y'all on today. So I always like to get started with asking, how long have y'all been married, and how did y'all meet? Give us, that back history, that story, so that the people that are watching can, feel y'all story and then be connected to when we do get into the deep questions. So,
I guess I'll start. So we have been married for almost 5 years now. September will make our 5th year, and I think it's been just a bliss. Our backstory is not the typical Hallmark, what you see backstory. We met at the illustrious Texas Southern University. We were both plugged into the Baptist Student Ministry, and we were both focusing on our relationship with God. We had both been dating previously, and it was just the relationship that we were in weren't working. And so it was more of a focus of like, let me just focus on myself and let me focus on what God has for me for the season. And I think the key thing for me, and I can't speak for her, but for me, I think the key thing was for me to be content in the season that I'm in, which was singleness, which was really hard because it's just like, I want somebody to be around. I want to be able to hang out with people. I don't want to be alone. But once I found contentness in that, and like I was okay with just having friends, we started hanging out, and we were just like, we were cool. We were friends. And then it progressed to, okay, maybe I do like her. And then I was just like, Lord, do I like her? And then the Lord like revealed it to me and was just like, why can't you like her? And so with that, it was, I remember the day, it was 2020, we were a COVID relationship. 2020 was Father's Day of 2020. I sat there and I told her, I said, I tried to take you out on a date and you don't want to go out with me, so like, what's new? And so then she was like, you never told me.
He's lying.
And so after that day, we started just hanging out. We would work out together. We would go catch lunch together. We lived in a community where I lived in an all-guys house, so I just had a community of fellas that we just always hung out. She lived in the same program, but with all girls. And so we always would just hang out. And then we would see each other at church, of course. And then we had her mentor, which was one of my good friends, and we were on the praise and worship team together. Put us together, essentially. She was just like, y'all should do what? And so I was just like, you know what, if I'm going to pursue this relationship, I'm going to be serious about it. And so I was serious about it, and I literally chased her down the highway. That's what I feel like. Down 45 traffic, trying to get to her. And so it was from there, we started dating in August. We officially started dating in August 2020. And then a man knows when he wants to get married. So I'm going to put that out there. And so in April of 2021, I proposed. And then we got married in September. That was kind of our backstory before. I didn't go into detail, but I'll let my lovely wife go into the detail here.
Okay, let me tell you what really they always find a way to dress it up. Now, what really happened was, okay, maybe like 85% of that was true. What was not true is he did not try to take me out on a date. That's not true. I don't know why you be saying that. I didn't even know he liked me. I thought we were like really good friends, and we would hang out a lot, like you said. We would go places. Like we would be out with each other probably till 1 o'clock in the morning, just hanging out, probably doing homework or something. We were hustling in college. Lord Jesus, I don't miss those days. But someone else tried to talk to me that was not really in our friend group. He was just around, and I was like, no. And then I came and told him because I thought we were friends. I would never tell him if I knew he liked me. I would never say nothing. And I'm like, guess what happened to me? And he was like, oh, but when I tried to take you out, you didn't want to go out. And I was like, that's it. That's the perfect timing. I was like, when did you try to take me out? Because I don't recall. Yeah. And then he was like, oh, but would you like to go out with me? Let's pump the brakes. Let's go back to when did you tell me? And then, yeah, like you said, my mentor, which is his good friend, we were all hanging out. And I was just like, I guess I'll give it a try.
Yeah.
I wasn't really into dating. That wasn't my thing. I wasn't focused on that. So I was like, okay, I'll try it, but
Yeah.
no hurt feelings if it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I was dropping hints though. I was dropping hints.
Maybe he was. They went right over my head.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah. It wasn't clear.
It wasn't direct to me, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know that about y'all. I knew that y'all had been in the BSM a little bit. I mean, I wasn't around at all at that time. But y'all both talked about like being friends a lot and just hanging out a lot and just having the same circle of friends. And since this is talking about having a Christ-centered courtship before that, so I want to kind of talk about or ask y'all, do y'all think that like it's important to have that friendship before, you know, the relationship? Because I've heard that before as well, like from different couples and then just different people like, oh, you know, having that friendship before you get into the relationship or the marriage makes it, you know, like I'm sitting here with y'all and y'all look like best friends as y'all should do, you know, like y'all are like interacting with each other as best friends, and I think that that's very important in a relationship, you know, especially having Christ in the center as well too. So do y'all think that that's important to be friends before, you know?
Absolutely. It's the most important, I would say. It comes before your actual relationship, because as a friend, you learn things about your friend, right? During that time. And it's like, oh, I didn't know you like to do that, or I didn't know that you talk like that, or I didn't know that was a trauma trigger for you. You learn these things as a friend. And so if it so happens to move into something more, you are more keen to know that person. Some people come and talk to us and be like, I just don't know what to give to her. Well, it's because y'all didn't talk for 3 months and then decided to get together. Y'all don't know each other.
Yeah.
So I think it's getting to know who each other really truly are.
Yeah.
I would agree and say the same thing. I think what was very intentional about our relationship is like we made sure God was at the center. And one big thing that we did not like budge on was sex before marriage. And that was just because we wanted to respect each other's boundaries and then actually get to know each other, not just skin deep, but get to know each other emotionally, get to be there for each other mentally. Because we were both going through a lot of stuff at the time we started dating. But it was just, we were very intentional about having, you know, let's check in. Like, okay, let's, you know, what did you get from Sunday sermon? Or how is it transferring to you this week? And so that still built relationship and still built friendship. And I could say like, okay, I'm a text Ty and check in on her. And it was just like, it was friend, but it was like natural. And so like what it was just like, oh, I don't have to force to be in a relationship with you. I don't have to force to be, oh, this is my girl, this is my girlfriend or anything. It was just like, we just like each other, you know, we just witty. And that was one thing too that people would be like, so what are y'all doing? We just hanging out.
Yeah.
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 I think also liking each other, because you can like the way that person looks, but if I don't like talking to you, like what are we doing? And I think a lot of people get into relationships now and it's like, you don't even like spending time with a person. So how do you expect to be in a marriage where you are basically around each other 24 hours a day, 8 days a week at that point, because you wake up to them, you go to bed to them, you turn over, they there, you go to the closet, they there. And if you don't like being around that person, you're going to be like, oh my God, I hate it here.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very important. Like you just said, like, woo. You do, like, I have to like you before the marriage day, because then, like you just said, you're going to get there and be like,
I actually don't like you.
I can't stand you.
Like,
and it has nothing to do with you loving them, because you can love somebody and not like them. It's more of a, I don't like being around you.
Yeah.
Like there's something in you that is just like not settling with me.
Yeah.
But because we didn't take that time to nurture what we were wanting to build and what we first had, I did not know that.
Yeah.
So now that I'm in this thing, I know that now. And then that's how a lot of infidelity happens. That's how a lot of miscommunication happens. Or just petty arguments that you have. You arguing about who left the cap off the toothpaste? That's not what the argument is about.
Yeah.
True.
At all.
Yeah.
Very true.
And with that, when y'all was saying that, it made me think of this movie. I don't know if y'all watched it. It's called In Love with a Church Girl. I Fell in Love with a Church Girl.
I've seen it, but I've never watched it.
I don't know who the actors is. I don't know. I can't think of their names. But like that movie, I would say it's not a like a Christ. I mean, it can be. Don't get me wrong, it can be, because that's what it's trying to portray. Like a guy who's in the world, he sees a woman. Like you said, he was chasing her down the street. That's what. That also what made me think of it too. 'Cause he was chasing her down the highway in his car. So I was like, oh, that reminds me of that. But then being around a mix of friends that they had equally and seeing her, and then like she was like, oh well, come to church and blah blah blah, and then like he started going to church and doing these things, reading the Bible, and then too it made me think about it because this episode is talking about like the courtship stage, and before they got into a relationship, she was setting those boundaries, like y'all said, no sex before marriage and other different things, right? And she set those boundaries. Of course, it's a movie, so it ain't real life. You can't see the ending be all. Because there's a scene where they were sleeping in the same house. He slept on the couch and she slept in a room, and still too, that can be detrimental. Yeah, so it's like, okay, there are parts where it's like, okay, well, you shouldn't do this as well, but then again, we are human. Some people are gonna do what they want to do. Hey, if just don't do it if that's not something that But it made me think about that because it's like they built a friendship before getting into their relationship, and her setting those boundaries like, hey, well, I go to church and I do this and I do this. I'm not going here. I'm not going there. I'm not doing these type of things, being around these certain type of people. Like, I think that's important in relationships, because it's easy to like fall to what the world and what people around, like you said, if they're attractive, like he attractive, he have all this money, he got the big house and all of this, so it's like, you know what,
you feel obligated to give it up, and it's like, no, you don't.
And I also think like that can be from people's upbringing as well, because I believe a child gonna do what they see their parents do.
Absolutely.
So it also can be from how, and of course you grow up, you get older, you're around different people, but it's still your environment, the people around you, what you've learned, and then having other people come in, walking with you and telling you like, hey, that's not right. Because you will never know that if nobody don't come and tell you like that's not right. And so with that, I wanted to ask y'all, what were some of the boundaries that y'all set with each other? Did y'all court? Like, what was it? Wait a minute, back up.
Yeah.
Did y'all court? Because y'all were friends for a long time, but what was it like for y'all in the court? Like, talk about that, like, in the dating. Because I'm like, did y'all date or what?
Yeah, so we started dating in August of 2020. And the reason why I'm laughing is because when we first started dating, I would always like want to be in her space, just to get to know her better, make sure like we vibe and we're clicking together. And she put me on punishment. So when we first started dating, it was like the first three months for sure. Her rules were, we can only see each other every 3 days.
Okay.
I need flowers every 2 weeks.
Ooh, clock it.
And she said, you better text me in the morning too.
I think those were very 3 simple rules.
Yeah.
Like, those are not hard.
Yeah.
And so when she put me on punishment, I said every 3 days. That's crazy.
That would have been me. What do you mean?
And so I'm over here trying to plan, okay, I work on Monday, so let me go see her Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I can go see her Friday. So I'm over here trying to do the math. And then, don't let me forget to text her in the morning. Oh, so you ain't gonna text me good morning?
What kind of show we running?
You done got me accustomed to a good morning text, and you ain't texting me good morning yet.
That's what I said.
And this is when I'm working overnight too, so I'm like, I'm not even up yet.
I don't care. You drove home.
Set your alarm.
Exactly.
You could have texted me on the way home.
So those are her boundaries for me. I want you to explain on what were my boundaries for you. I don't really remember.
Before we get into that, I had a very good reason for everything. I had a very good reason, people. And I was so funny. I went out with some girls last night who were building a relationship with, who I am building a relationship with, and we talked about this, like, hey, how did you meet, all these type of things, and I was like, yes, he was on the every 3 to 8 basis because I am a self-sabotager. If I feel that something is too good, I will purposely mess it up. So it had nothing to do with him. It had everything to do with me acknowledging that and how can I interrupt the pattern. So every 3 days was really for me, one day I need to talk to you, and then those 2 days I'm basically wrestling with myself on, don't mess this up. Do you want this? Is this something you want right now? Are you ready for this? So it had nothing to do with him. It was, I don't want to distract you from what I'm trying to accomplish here. And eventually he graduated up to every day. Wasn't that bad?
What she told me was when she put me on Courtship, you got to give me space to miss you.
I didn't want to ruin it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to ruin it. And it goes back to that liking you. Like, let me miss you. Allow me to miss you. If you in my space every day, I promise I'm not going to miss you because you feel. Right? You know? But his boundaries for me, he actually didn't give me any. He actually didn't give me any. The only thing I think really was like, hey, I'm very serious about you. I want us to be serious about no sex before marriage. I want us to always keep God first. These are my boundaries. If you cannot adhere to them, I don't think this is going to work. We really didn't have that issue because we were on the same page. I was just beginning to discover my relationship with Christ because I didn't grow up in church. He grew up in church. So I was just discovering my relationship with who God was and who he wanted me to be. So that was a non-negotiable for me anyway. So what his boundaries were, we were already on the same wavelength. I just had additional work that I needed to do and didn't feel like it was possible or right for him to be along for that ride.
Okay, yeah, that's valid. Yeah, I like that.
She souped it up nicely.
Oh,
Yes, I like that. And I also like that you mentioned like about the having time to miss each other because I've learned that now. Like I've heard it and I'm like, you know what, that is actually like a good thing because at first I wasn't like that. I'm like Chris, like I need to see you every day. You work, okay, I work too. We still need to see each other every day. After you get off work, you got this, we need to see each other. But now it's like, okay, you know what, we are adults, we have stuff going on, we still have, our own separate lives. And then too, like you said, like I wanna miss you. I want you to miss me, because then there is marriage and then you living together every day and you seeing each other every day, so you do need that space. Okay.
But it also makes you want to be more intentional about your conversations when you miss them. Because it's just like, dang, I didn't get to say this last time. I mean, I can say it over text message, but it's just different being in the space. Like sometimes we wouldn't have anything planned. I just order pizza and we'd sit there and watch movies that she wanted to watch. And of course, I worked overnight, so I just fall asleep, and she would just be watching a movie. And the thing too is, and I think shout out to Agape because the program that we were in it was called Gateway. So she lived with at the girls' house, and so I was friends with a few of the girls in the house already. And so it was just natural. Like we were all just friends at that point, and we were just all hanging out. And then once it was just like, okay, we're all friends, and we're just hanging out, we're watching movies and hanging out and just being. At that time, we were young adults. I want to say teenagers, but we were young adults at that time, and it was just like we were all on the same track of getting to know who Christ was, and we were all on the same track of like we want to be intentional about our relationship with Christ and mess with the other fluff. Like I'm not looking for that fluff right now. I want to we were all rooted in church, like we were all rooted together. And it was just like we're gonna grow as a community, And so I think that was a beautiful thing too.
Yeah. Okay, and then you said about like y'all wanting to be intentional with growing in your relationship with Christ. I didn't know that you wasn't raised in church. Yeah, so let's go back to that before I go to because it kind of helps me like understand like okay, or not even just me too, but people that's watching as well. Like, so you weren't raised in church? Were you raised in church?
I was raised in church, so I can give you a background of my story. I guess this would be the time for us to give background of our individual stories and how the Lord put them together. So I'm the baby of 13 kids.
Okay.
So I'm the youngest, and I only have one sibling that we have the same dad, the same mom. My father was a Rolling Stone. He was in the Army. So I have other siblings that we have different moms. I only grew up with one brother. My mother passed away when I was very young. And so my dad, it was just me, my brother, and my dad. We all grew up together in Gary, Indiana. And then my stepmom came into our lives, and she had opened up a church before. She had her own kids that were already grown, and she was a minister. And so she got our family plugged into church. And so I was 6 when that happened. And so from 6 to 18, I was in church when the doors opened to the doors closed. I was the typical pastor's kid. I was a great Sunday kid, and then I was out in the streets during the week. And so
when he says out in the streets, painting parking lots with his best friend, that's out in the streets to him, y'all.
Well, to my parents, because my parents were older. So my dad was 54 when I was born, and my stepmom was not too far behind. And so that's like how I grew up. And we moved from Indiana to a small town right outside of Dallas. And we got plugged into a church there. I was serving. I was on the junior usher board committee. I was in the choir. I was the person to bring the water to the minister. I was a soloist. I was the poem reader. I was the Sunday. I like anything in church. I had my hands on it because that's how my stepmom raised us. And so like when y'all say when I was a very churchy child.
Okay.
So that was my background.
Yeah, the whole 9 yards. Okay.
I did none of that.
Yeah.
I actually did not step foot into a church until I was 18. I was well into things I had no business being well into at that age. The ironic thing is I was adopted by my grandmother.
Okay.
I used to beg her to take me to church when I was young. I was like 8. I have no clue what church is, what church stands for, any of that. We didn't speak about God in the household. We didn't read our Bible. We didn't do any of that. But growing up, for me, it was so bad that I knew there has to be another side. Because if this is what life is, this ain't gonna work. This is not gonna work. So I was like, there has to be a good. You know, when you go to public school, I'm like, I see. You don't live like I live. You know, you don't talk about the things that I talk about. So, what is your life like? What is this? And it required me to be a more inquisitive child. So when I came to TSU and I saw the Baptist Student Ministries, and I had been to Nehemiah Community Church, and it's, you know, at one time it was like all one entity. It was like, okay, well, let me get it over here. Let me see what this is about. Let me see. Like, I knew of God, but I didn't know who he was. So I was like, let me get plugged in. Let me see. And then I think, the first time I went to church, I was 18. I was 18 years old, and that's just what it's been ever since.
Yeah. I resonate with your story a lot, because I wasn't raised in church either. Like, there wasn't any talk of God, there wasn't no Bible reading, no going to church, and not until maybe like I was 17. Like, I remember going to church one time with my mom, like for a program, but now that I'm older, when I had to look back, I was like, oh, that was the Kingdom of Hall, and now I know that that's a Jehovah's Witness, you know, church. I didn't know that at the time. And then I went to church with one of my cousins when I was like 17 as an outlet to get away from what was going on at home. Yeah. You know, so it wasn't like I was still going to church to hear what I just
want to get out.
Yeah, you know, and then when I came to college, I still wasn't involved in church. I mean, my godparents, and they were in church, but they weren't, like, forcing it on me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, now that I'm here, I'm like, oh, they never, like, was like, oh, you know, this or that, you know. They're like, you want to come to church with us? You want to come to church? I'm like, yeah, because, I mean, I didn't mind. That's what I was doing, you know, before I came. So I'm like, there ain't nothing, like, I still have some of my notes from when I went. I was going to Good Hope Missionary Baptist Church with them at the time. And I'll be looking at the notes like, I don't even know what was going on in my mind at this time because I was just writing stuff. I don't even know what
you writing.
Yeah, you know. And then I didn't come and be involved in Nehemiah and BSM until my 22nd birthday. And that was my junior year in college. And then that's when I'm like, okay, something got to change. Like, I need something different around me, like friends, like everything. I don't want to worry about nothing on my own anymore. And I'm talking more with my godmom and, you know, just praying with her and talking more with her to, you know, just her discipling me, walking with me until.
Without you even knowing what that is.
Yes, exactly. Like, I did not know that at the time. It was like, I tell people, like, honestly, I don't know what it was, but it was just something that just came over me like, I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to have sex. I don't want to listen to NBA Youngboy, or I don't want to, you know, go here and do this and do all this and hang with these type of friends. Like, I want something else better, and I didn't know what that was, you know, until now coming in and seeing like, oh, that was
God the whole time.
You know, even though like now there's still a world of struggles and things that the Lord is still pruning and working out of me, you know, but I like that. I didn't know that. I'm happy to know that. Like, okay, oh, we got something in common. Okay. I mean, I'm just saying all because, like, yes, I'm, you know, interviewing couples and things like that. Majority of them, all of them, I know, you know. So like to hear things where it's like, oh, we relate, you know, and it's not just to put out, but you know, to learn more about y'all and then other people too, because y'all are believers, you know. So it's giving an opportunity for other young couples because y'all are young, so they can have a living example of young people, Black African Americans that are loving God, loving each other, and that have walked a pure, you know, lifestyle in the courting stage into now and still, you know, living it out right now.
Right.
So, I'm thankful, I'm grateful because I'm like, I'm in awe, like. I love it. Like, I love, like, y'all chemistry. Like, I love that. Like, that's, you don't really see it. Even, like, some people, you really don't see the chemistry sometimes. And you know, it just makes you wonder, like, what's missing. And then it's the Love Ministry podcast. So I'm talking about love. You know, not that I need to see the love between y'all, but it is good because as a single person, you know, seeing y'all married, it's like, okay, y'all are sitting right here talking to me as an example to me, you know.
Right.
But yeah, so that now I want to go into that love and that what does it mean? What do you take as the scripture says to love your wife as Christ loved the church and died for her and gave himself up for her. So what does that look like practically for you to do and show towards your wife now that y'all are married?
It's a good question. Actually, that line was part of my vows when we got married. Yeah. Actually, when I proposed too, that was part of my what I said before I proposed. I think it's the first thing that like comes to mind, like, and during that time was I needed to learn how to love myself and needed to be okay with loving myself. Because although I grew up in the church, I didn't have a real relationship with Christ. It was a show because that's what they expected of a pastor's kid. And so my real relationship with Christ came when I was 18, and I remember he had just broke me down to a point where I was just like, Lord, I can't do this anymore. And so then, like, when he started building me back up, that's when I realized, okay, I can love myself and then not be toxic, or I don't have to be what the society says a man should be. And so then once I learned how to love myself and then love myself the way Christ loves me, I was able to reciprocate that to Ty. I was about to call you government.
Oh. Not on the camera.
And so what it looks like now that we're married, and like love to someone is not as easy as people say it is.
It's not.
It's
not.
Consistent, godly love.
And the thing too is, it's just like, I can't love you the way I want to be loved. I have to love you the way that you want to be loved, and then how you receive love. Because I can be like, oh yeah, let's just like, everybody knows love languages. My thing is, we can just be in the same space. We can just have quality time. Ty's thing is, she wants physical touch along with that. And also my thing is, I'm a gift giver. And she's like, you ain't gotta give me all that. Like, take it back. I don't want that. I don't want that. I want you to sit here. I want us to just be in a space together, and I just want you to hold, And when we first got married, I was just like, I don't want to hold you. Like, what I look like trying to hold you? And so, and that's when I realized, like, I need to love her, like I said in my vows. Like, I love her as Christ loves the church. Like, I will do anything for you, and I'm intentionally making steps to provide for you. I'm intentionally making steps to make sure that you have everything that you need. You may not get everything that you want, but I think in the same way that Christ does for us, Christ puts steps before us so we can take those steps. Yeah. My job as a husband is to make those steps for our family. And I think of a pile of snow. Like, I have to dredge through the snow, and she falls behind my steps. But I know she's got my back. If someone pulls up behind me, I know she's gonna turn around, be 10 toes down. But I gotta be in the front line to make sure she's protected. Or you can think, what is it? A wolf. A wolf is a great example. When two male wolves are fighting, the female will sit under her husband's neck to protect it, so the other wolf won't come for it. And so I think that is a beautiful example of, like, I'm loving you and you love me at the same time. And it's not a one-sided marriage. And it's not like, oh, I'm just showing all the love, I'm giving all the love, and I'm not receiving it. So.
It is I feel like it's a really hard command, and one that is not easily, like, taken towards people in general, just to love somebody else like the way that they want to be loved and putting them first. But right after that comes for the wife to submit to your husband as unto Christ. So how do you find the joy in that and the understanding of that once y'all were married? Knowing that you weren't raised in church. Now that's also why I wanted to see too. So, like, not being raised up for me, because that's it's hard.
Yes.
So how do you find the joy in that submission to your husband?
Just as you said, it's not easy. It was not easy because, as I said earlier, it wasn't no such thing as picking up a Bible and reading it. Like, what? Like, yeah, you keep it, but you don't read it. You get the decorative ones and you you keep it pretty. So I never, you so silly. I never knew that was in the Bible until we went to marriage counseling. Go to marriage counseling, folks. Premarital counseling. Premarital counseling. I had no clue until we sat with the pastor, and he was like, how are you going to submit? And I'm like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Like, I know what the word means, but I don't understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I'm very headstrong. I'm very headstrong.
Very.
Stop it. I'm very headstrong, and I want to be in the front. I want to be in control. This is how it needs to go, because then I know it's going to be successful. So, but what the downside to that was, I was always stressed out. I was always overwhelmed. I didn't even know I had anxiety. I was always anxious. I'm always stressed out about things not going right. It's not doing this. It's not doing that. Why are we not? And he was like, well, let me do it. No, don't you know? And he was like, well, I'm the man of the house. And it was like, yeah, okay, what that mean? I still, even exactly the marriage, exactly what he said out loud, I still did not understand the importance of his role. And one day, God was just like, shut up. Like, I just kept hearing, just shut up in my head. And I'm like, this is not going right. Not even not being him, but there was a situation where I was like, I needed to follow this so I can do this. And it just, no matter what I did, I couldn't get it to do right. It couldn't fall in the right places. And I was like, you know what? God, I don't understand what's happening. And he said to me, You are out of order. What you mean I'm out of order?
Yeah.
You know, when God talks to you stilly, I get a little offended. Like, what do you mean I'm out of order? This is not your role.
Yeah.
You are to take a back seat. And I'm like, okay, well, how do I take a back seat? I don't know how. I've never seen it. And then he would just walk me, like, first off, it would just be something simple. Hey, babe, can you do this? Because I had a hard time asking him to do anything. I felt he had enough stress. He had enough things, being a husband, trying to figure it out. I'm trying to be a wife, trying to figure it out at 21 and 22. I was like, he has enough stress on his plate. I'll just do it.
Yeah.
So I would never ask him to do anything. And then one day I was just like, hey, can you do this? And I think he was more surprised than I was that I asked him to do it. And he just was like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll take care of it. And he did it. And I was like, oh, I can trust you. And that's when I realized I have trust issues. So allowing him to lead was a big challenge for me. But finding the joy in that is I get to be in my femininity, where I belong. And I feel like peace. I don't want to say where we belong, but I get to play my role. I'm good at it.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we're built here to do. I am not built to be in the front. I'm not built to be a man. I'm not built to do certain things. I'm not called to do certain things. Though some women have to. And that's okay, because that's the call you're dealt. God knows that. But when he gives you that partner, he gives you that man, allow him to be just that, the man.
Make sure you find the right man, y'all.
Okay, not everybody can do it. Not everybody can do it.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was telling my friend last night, he is in control and in charge of our souls. That is a task only few can be destined to have.
Yeah.
He is in control of that. And if I don't trust him to be in control, if God does not trust him, he wouldn't be in the place that he is.
Yeah.
So if I trust God, I have to trust him. Because God gave me.
Yeah. Put y'all together. Y'all are too funny.
Oh, Lord.
Yes,
I'm not
that's
gonna
good.
live that one down.
Yes, oh my goodness. But you said something very important that y'all both had chimed in on, the premarital counseling.
Premarital
Yes,
counseling.
so y'all definitely would recommend that for
10 out of 10, I do recommend it because they ask you questions that you be like, we've been dating for 3 years and I ain't never thought about asking you that. That wasn't our case. But it was just like, that's something we probably do need to talk about to figure out where we both stand on that topic.
Yeah.
I think it was like disciplining kids or something like that. And I was like, I was ready to be whooped. I don't necessarily want to do that.
Oh.
Like if it's necessary, then it's necessary. Because spoil the raw, spoil the child. Spare the raw, spoil the child at the end of the day. But it's like, I don't want to have to whoop my child for everything. He got whoopings too, but it wasn't like that. You know, he was gonna beat about it. But it was like, I don't want to whoop them if they draw on the wall. Let's have a conversation. What does that look like though?
Yeah.
Also, what does it look like when a kid comes and say, Mommy, I want ice cream before dinner? No. Okay, well, I'm gonna just go ask my daddy then. And you know daddy gonna give it to you because when you had a girl and you got her up, tied your finger, all you gotta do is bat them eyes and
Yeah.
you know you get your ice cream. But what does the united front looks like in front of our kids? You know, do you check in and say, well, what did your mom say? Because I know you asked. What does that look like?
Yeah.
Do we argue in front of our kids when we disagree? Or do we say, no, that's what your mama said, and then we go talk about it behind closed doors? And then come back together and say, hey, we talked about it, this is what we decided. What does that look like?
I think the thing for me with premarital counseling, I remember. So, fellas, don't be like me. When we started premarital counseling, I decided to go work out the city, and so I wasn't here to help plan for the wedding at all. Put back to premarital. I'm sorry.
Just lift me.
But with premarital counseling, I remember the lesson we talked about that was very key for me was finances. Because when you get married, like everything should be transparently open. And so now we have it set up at, we're 5 years into this thing, we have it set up where we have a joint account where most of our money goes. We have individual spending accounts for ourselves, and we work together joint savings, so that way we can hold each other accountable. And let me tell you.
You listen, we gotta go down
started dating, and so she would be making money, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd be like, well, baby, where your money at? Oh, I need to do this. I need to do this.
Again, this is me. let me clarify. This is me being in the front, making all the decisions, not understanding. Hey, you need to kind of slow down and let him know what's going on.
But and so we were dating at the time. So I was just like, well, why are you asking me about my finances? Like this ain't got nothing to do with you. This is I'm doing my own thing, and I'm just like, well, if we're trying to make this work together, I need to know your credit score so that way we can figure out what we're gonna do next. If we need to go to a cheaper apartment, I need to know what your income is and see what our combined income is. See how much rent can we afford and things like that. Like because I'm looking at building a life with you, so we need to invest these things together. And so then when we first got
it wasn't his business.
So when we first got married, we had moved out to Spring, Texas, and our rent was $1,000. Praise the Lord, $1,000 flat. We had a 2-bedroom apartment.
Ooh, it was nice.
Where you found that?
It was nice. It was a beautiful layout. It was a massive square footage. Girl, we was living life out there. Wow.
And I remember the first time I was just like, I felt like, ooh, maybe I can't trust you with your finances. Because we had moved out there in September, and I think it was like right around November, like right when you started getting presents for Christmas. And we were both working. I was working 2 jobs and going to school. She was working overnight and going to school, and she was trying to transition to another job. And so the thing was, she likes to do DoorDash, Instacart, Uber Eats, Amazon. If you look at Ty's bank statement, all 4 of those will pop up at some point in the month.
Ain't nothing changed. I've just spaced them out.
And what I tell people when we first got married, the only way I knew Ty had got paid, because we didn't have a joint account yet. The only way I knew she got paid is when there were Amazon packages on the door. And I'd be like, oh, she got paid. I said, well, how much she get paid? She still wasn't transparent with that thing. And so when we decided, like, we were moving forward in life, we were 3 months married, enjoying life, and I was a server at the time. And she came to me, it was like towards the end of the month, and I remember because I was working a double towards the end of the month because I wasn't at school. She came to me and she said, I don't have my half of the rent.
That's not true. I didn't have it all. I missed work, y'all. I was sick, and they cut my check.
So they cut her check, and she was working at Amazon and spending the money at Amazon, right?
This is true.
And so
I was paying myself.
Yeah.
I was paying myself.
And so she had overextended her budget essentially, and so I remember I sat there and had a conversation with her, and I was just like, you do realize that means I have to go to work, and I gotta be at work for real. And so I went to work that weekend. I think she was maybe short $500 for her half of rent. $400 for her half of rent. I went to work and I would work doubles Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and it came back with that money and made our rent up. And so then that's when I was just like, okay, we need to be more serious about finances. And so that conversation in premarital counseling was just like an eye opener of just be intentional about your finances, but it wasn't practical until I was actually in it. And so once I got in it, I was just like, yeah, we're gonna have to shift some things. So that's when we got our joint account, and that's when I realized too, because I grew up I didn't have all the money I wanted, but my parents weren't we weren't scraping the bottom of the barrel once we moved to Texas and Indiana. We were, and so I had learned I don't have to spend my money as soon as it gets to my pocket. I had learned okay, I'm the type of person where I'll let something sit in my Amazon cart for 2-3 weeks and see, do I really need this? As to where Ty would be one click buy. And so we grew up in 2 different areas. We grew up at 2 different times. So for her, it was just I want this now, so I'm gonna spend it. As to where it's just I can hold on a little bit longer, And so that's when we started having conversations about budgeting and being intentional about it. And then we started holding each other accountable for it. And so then we had a thing where it was just if you're going to spend more than $100, we need to let the other person know. Now that has increased since our incomes have increased. But when we first got married, like it was $100 was a big thing for us. So if it was over $100, we need to communicate like this is what I'm about to buy and this is what I need it for. So
yeah, I agree. I think that's important too. Yeah. Okay. So tell us like one or two things that y'all think key principles to have or maintain a healthy, loving marriage.
Open communication. You gotta be hot, honest, open, and transparent. You have to be hot in a courting. If you're in a courting stage, it's best to just put everything on the table with no tablecloth. Like just put it on the raw table on both ends, so that way a person can have the opportunity to shift through it and say, "Can I deal with this?" Afford them that opportunity, and you'll find some people that'll be like, "I actually can't deal with this," and unfortunately, that's life. You just move on. Don't waste people's time. Do not waste nobody's time, people. Okay. Stick to your boundaries. That's the second one for me. Stick to your boundaries, whatever they are. Stick to your boundaries. Do not waver your boundaries for anyone. I do not care how hot they are, how much money they got, or excuse me, how much money they have. I don't care what they can do for you. I don't care how good it is.
Yeah.
Like
no, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
hey,
you be like, oh, I could actually deal with your third baby mama. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Wait.
Wait a minute. I'm just being honest.
ready for that one.
You know what I'm saying? I could deal with your
No, but
I have no children.
You know, it'd be like, I could deal with your third baby mama because you be, no, it's not okay. And fellas, if she said she not doing it before marriage, if that's what you into, there are a bunch of women out here who are into the same thing. Do not cross her boundary. Don't force her boundary. Don't say I'm gonna leave you if you ain't giving me yada yada yada. Don't manipulate the situation. Just say I'm not ready for that. And let her be what it is. You cannot continue to drag your drama and your trauma and your manipulation and your lies and your all of this onto good people. She's trying to do something. She's trying to go somewhere. She's trying to get to know who God is. And right now, you are a blockage. Be somebody else's blockage.
There'll be nobody's blockage.
It's gonna happen though. Like, be honest, it's gonna happen. But if a woman tells you, listen, I don't want to have sex before marriage because whatever the case may be, honor that and move around. You do not have to manipulate that woman into doing anything because there are women who will allow that. There are. Don't come, just leave her alone. Oh, but I love her. You clearly don't. And then you need to go to separate counseling individually to figure out why you have this alternate definition of love. But I'm gonna be quiet.
I think to build off of that, I think a very key thing that I've learned is when you respect that boundary, she respects you more. Because I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Like there were opportunities when we were dating, like it could have gone left very quick. But I was just like, you know what? I respect myself and I respect her to like not go past this boundary. And I found that made our relationship even better. Because I mean, that would be a conversation. It would be a conversation next day. I'm like, you know, why didn't we go the next step? And it was just like, because I wanted to respect you. And so then that was just like, you know what? You were a real man. Because someone else would not have respected that. And that just built on conversation. That also helped us build boundaries that, okay, we can't see each other after 12 o'clock at night. Because, you know, that's when temptation is lurking, you know? And so that you learn. I think another key thing for people that are like looking to get married and are just looking to date, go out together in friend groups. I think too, like we would go out together with friend groups, and like even though our friends knew that we were talking, we wanted to be serious about our relationship, we would still go out in friend groups because it's no pressure. There's no pressure for me to be like, oh, I'm this macho man, and she didn't have to be like, oh, I'm this girly girl. You know, she didn't have to do that, but we were like, it was just natural. And then on top of it, she said open and transparent. I'm gonna say communicate. Because you can be open and transparent all you want to, but if you don't know how to communicate what's going on through your mind, it's not going to mesh. I remember one of the conversations that we had when we first got married. It was in the first 6 months. she hated that I left my clothes on the side of the bed.
Mm-hmm.
And so one day I had came home and she had started packing her bag. Was ready to go. Was packing her bag, ready to go. I'm like, what's going on? You can leave your stuff over there, and I can tell you to clean it. I'm tired of cleaning. And then I had to realize the argument wasn't about the clothes, fellas. The argument was about her not trusting my word. Mm-hmm. And so then that's another thing too, is look past I want to say behavior, but look past the action and look for the root of the cause. Mm-hmm. And so I learned in that moment, it was just like, I need to show her love and grace, and then also show yourself love and grace too, especially in the dating season. And rejection does not mean no, it's just not right now. I think of dating is like a job application. Like, I'm reading your resume, your resume don't meet what my criteria I need for this position. Next. Mm-hmm. Rejection doesn't mean no, it just means not right now. Mm-hmm. And
like it, love it. I agree too. So with that being said, as we are coming to the end, of course, that was still kind of like a little advice that y'all can give to people that's watching. But what is another advice that y'all have to give for those that are watching, that are in the courting stage, about just keeping Christ in the center of their relationship?
I'll start. Start a devotion together. I think that's the first good step, is to start doing devotionals together. Our first thing with doing devotionals together was doing it on the Bible app, but then we would fall through on that. So then we started actually like getting up in the morning and like either catching breakfast, or we would go out for a walk at night and work out and just talk about, okay, what did you read about today? And then just being intentional about having a conversation with God and having a conversation about God. And then after a while, it just comes natural. It's just like, okay, like, she'll say something to me, I'll be like, okay, how did you show the love of God in that situation? She'd be like, and so it just comes natural when you are able to say, you know what, Christ is the foundation of this relationship. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, to other people, it's going to look weird. Don't let other people that are not in your relationship be in your relationship. Mm-hmm. I would say that too. Because to other people, they were like, oh, well, Khris, you're 22 and she was 21. And they're like, y'all are too young. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, I'm not too young. I know what I'm looking for in life. I know I'm being intentional. And so with Christ being the center of our relationship, I know it's the right step. Mm-hmm. And Christ can still be in the center of your relationship and the relationship not work. Mm-hmm. It could just be that you're not ready. And that's okay.
Yeah.
I think for me, it was, you kind of touched on mine a little bit. I'm going to let it slide.
Great minds think alike.
Oh, whatever. Continue to communicate. Be honest. That's really it for me. Be honest about everything. Mm-hmm. There were things that I was subject about being honest about. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't want him all in my finances because I knew I had a problem. I knew I overspent a lot, but I didn't want accountability. Yeah. I don't want you to tell me that, because I know that, and I don't want to fix it yet. Like, I'm not ready for that. Yeah. But then I'm a person who likes to live a certain way. Mm-hmm. I'm not materialistic for sure, but there are certain things that I'm like, I like quality. Yeah. In order for me to have quality needs to be paid for. So you can either get this or you can get some quality in your life. Yeah. So, but I had to be honest with everybody. Mm-hmm. So I think, just learning how to communicate to that person. Mm-hmm. Not just saying, hey, I don't want you to do this because da-da-da-da-da-da. He may not receive it that way. Yeah. It may be he has to get in a more sensitive headspace. Mm-hmm. He may have to wind down from work before you can have that conversation. Knowing the appropriate time to communicate effectively will have the messenger be more receptive to your message. Yeah.
And you're not going to get it right the first
It's not going to happen. Yeah. You're going to be like, but I tried. That's okay, keep trying. Yeah.
Don't give up. You have to learn about how, that's the thing about relationship, is that you're learning each other. Because, once you get into a marriage and looking at a marriage is a mirror. Mm-hmm. It is. So, like, when I'm looking at you and I'm like, I don't like the way you did that. Look at the mirror and I'm like, okay, what did I do to make you do that? You know? So.
Or do I do that?
Yeah.
Because sometimes that person is reciprocating the exact thing you do.
Yeah.
Exactly, that you do. And you're like, I don't like that. Me either.
You do the same thing. Like, no, yeah.
Right? But when you're in a relationship, it's hard to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. And you're like, I don't do that. And you would much rather defend than accept.
Yeah.
You do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a victim of that. I have a really bad habit of cutting people off unintentionally.
Yeah. Yeah, facts. I see that too within myself. But yeah, I've heard that too as well. Like, marriage is a mirror of yourself. It's another form of purification.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So yeah. But again, thank y'all so much. Thank y'all for coming on to the Love Ministry podcast, where y'all are helping me redefine love by Christ's standard. And so that is all for this episode. Stay tuned for next week's episode. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Thank y'all so much. We went a
Absolutely.
long time.
This was
Oh my
fun.
gosh. I was not expecting. Of course, I tell everybody 30 minutes is gonna go by so fast. And if you just enjoyed what you were watching and what you were listening to, stay tuned for next week's episode to hear how these couples practically love each other and how they show sacrificial love to each other the way God intended for us to.